Hey y'all, it's Kim. So since we're still going on about the Epstein files, even though I know Trump has done other good things, but still, this is just one of those things. I don't feel like it's going to go away. I mean, I've seen several people obviously still talking about it. I'm going to continue to talk about it. But anyway, here is the Ghislaine Maxwell deposition transcript between, well, I guess you see right here, United States District Courts, Southern District of New York, Virginia L. Giuffre, a plaintiff. And then here's the case number 15 CV 07433 RWS against Ghislaine Maxwell, defendants. This is confidential videotaped deposition of Ghislaine Maxwell taken pursuant to subpoena was held at the law offices of whatever. Schiller and Flexner, 575 Lexington Avenue, New York, New York, commencing April 22nd, 2016, 9:04 a.m. On the above date, before Leslie Fagan, a court reporter and notary public in the state of New York, Magna Legal Services. Let's see here. Appearances, Boy, Schiller, and Flexner, LLP, attorneys for plaintiff, 401 East Los Olas Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale. They spelled that wrong. Florida, 33301 by Sigrid Macaulay, Esquire, Meredith Schultz, Esquire, Emma Rosen, paralegal. Farmer Jaffe, Weissing, Edwards, Fistos, and Lerman, PL, attorneys attorneys for plaintiff, 425 North Andrews Avenue, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33301 by Brad Edwards, Esquire, Paul G. Castle, Esquire, attorneys for plaintiff, 383 South University Street, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84112, Haddon Morgan Foreman, attorneys for defendant, 150 East 10th Avenue, Denver, Colorado, 80203 by Jeffrey S. Pagliuca. I don't know. Pagliuca. Sounds good. Okay. Esquire and Laura A. Miniger, whatever. Meninger. All these people's names are weird. Esquire, also present. James Christ, videographer. Okay, the videographer, we're now on the record and recording. This begins disc number 1 in the deposition of Ghislaine Maxwell in the matter of Virginia Giuffre versus Ghislaine Maxwell in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. Today is April 22nd, 2016. The time is 9:04 a.m. This deposition is being taken at 575 Lexington Avenue in New York at the request of Sigrid Colley of Boys, Schiller and Flexner. The videographer is James Christ and the court reporter is Leslie Fagan. Will counsel state their appearance and whom they represent, and then court reporter swear in Miss Maxwell. Miss Macaulay, my name is Sigrid Macaulay with my colleague Meredith Schultz. We're with Boy Schiller and Flexner. We represent Miss Giuffre. Mr. Edwards, Brad Edwards. I also represent Miss Giuffre. She's got a lot of counsel. Mr. Castle, Paul Castle. I also hold on. I also represent Miss Giuffre, and then Mr. Pagliuca, Jeff Pagliuca, and Lori Meninger on behalf of Miss Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell, called as a witness, having been duly sworn by a notary public, was examined and testified as follows. Examination by Miss Macaulay. Good morning. I'm going to explain some of the rules that will happen with respect to depositions. Have you ever been deposed before? I have not. What is going to happen here? We have a court reporter and a videographer. What they do is take down the words that we say. So when I ask you a question, they will record what you say in response to that. So we have to be mindful that in order for them to do their job, we can't talk over each other. Another issue you have to be wary of is that In a response, you can't give a nonverbal response. In other words, nodding a yes or no. They need to hear verbal response so they can record it on their transcript. So that's important for you to remember as we go through the day. If you forget, I will be sure to remind you. Is there anything that will prevent you from giving truthful testimony today? There is not. You're not on any medications or anything that would inhibit your ability to remember or give truthful testimony. I am not. Mr. Pagliuca, could you identify the assistant in the room? Miss McCauley, this is Emma Rosen from our New York office. She is a paralegal. Miss Maxwell, can you please state your address for the record? Currently redacted. What is your date of birth? Redacted. And when did you first recruit a female to work for Mr. Epstein? Mr. Pagliuca, I object to the form and foundation of the question. I believe this is confidential information. I ask anyone who is not admitted in this case be excused from the room, please. Ms. McCulloch, so the response to that question would, Mr. Pagliuca, the subject matter of this question is confidential and I'm designating it as confidential. Ms. McCulloch, I just want to make that clear for the record. Mr. Edwards, so we don't delay the deposition. I will step out of the room, but I think it's important to lay the record that Mr. Pagliuca, I'm sorry, you're not permitted in this proceeding, so you're not entitled to make any record. If Ms. McCauley wants to make a record, she can. Mr. Edwards, I can make a record right now. Mr. Pagliuca, maybe we should get the judge on the phone and talk about it. This dude's being super aggressive. And Mr. Edwards, the record will be short. This is the precise reason why Ms. Giuffre wants me in this case, and I'm unable to effectively represent her at this time because I'm unable to have access to the confidential information, which includes apparently in the entire deposition of Miss Maxwell. But for the sake of not further delaying this, I will be outside the room. Miss McCauley, thank you. I would like to just wait for him to leave. That's fine. I would just like to clarify the address. I'm in the process of selling the house. So while I still receive mail there, it's not my actual physical address. It's in the process of being sold. It still requires some final paperwork to be done. So just for the purposes of clarity, do you have a new address where you will be living? I do not. For the purpose of the record, there is something I ask you that you later remember something else or need to correct your testimony in some way, you can do that. Just let me know what it is and we will go back to that question and can you clarify. Okay. Of course, I just wanted to be clear, there's still some paperwork pending for the final release, but it's in the process of sale. But I don't have another address currently, so while that should still be a record that the mail could be forwarded there. So for purposes of clarity, I wanted to be clear. I appreciate that. So Miss Maxwell, when did you first recruit a female to work for Mr. Epstein? Mr. Pagliuca, again, I object to the form and foundation of the question. You can answer the question. First of all, can you please clarify the question? I don't understand what you mean by female. I don't understand what you mean by recruit. Please be more clear and specific about what you're suggesting. Are you a female? Is that the sex that you are? I am a female. That's what I'm referring to, a female. And I'm asking you when the very first time you recruited a female to work for Mr. Epstein. Again, I don't understand what female. I'm a 54-year-old woman. Oh my God, is she stupid? I'm not making it age. Any age of female that you recruited to work for Mr. Epstein. Again, I was somebody who hired a number of people to work for Mr. Epstein, and hiring is one of my functions. And when is the first time you hired someone to work for Mr. Epstein, a female? Oh my gosh, just reading through it's like, this is so stupid. Like, I don't know what a woman is. I can't define a woman because I'm not a biologist. Sorry, that Ketanji Brown Jackson moment there. Anyway, okay, as best as you can recollect, a woman the age probably of about 40 or 50 was in sometime in 1992. How long did you work for Mr. Epstein? I started working for him at some point in 1992, and the nature of my work relationship with him changed over time. So from around 2002, 2003, the work lessened considerably. When did you, Mr. Pagliuca, can I interject for a moment? If we're talking about background, Miss McCauley, I'm in the middle of a question. Let me finish it and then you can interject. When you say 2000 to 2003, that the work lessened, when did you complete working for Mr. Epstein? When was the last time you were employed by him? The last date? I believe I still was helping him in a very nominal way, maybe an hour or two a year at some time 2008 and 2009. And Mr. Pagliuca, I gotta do something. So if you're going to be talking about general background, I don't need to designate that as confidential. So if you want to have them come back in, that's fine. I assume by your first question you were going into more sensitive areas. I will leave it up to you, but if this is general background, it will not be designated as confidential. Miss McCauley, I appreciate that. I will jump back into my other questions. Mr. Pagliuca, so we will keep it as confidential. When you were first employed by him in 1992, what were you hired to do? First, I was consulting, and what I did was I helped with decorating houses and hiring staff to help run those houses. Did your duties change over the course of 1992 to 2009? Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation. My job entailed running the homes that he had, but much more importantly, most of the houses had construction. And so whilst so excuse me, so whilst in 1992 there was no construction project, there was construction projects that began after that time, and I was in charge not only of hiring architects, I was also in charge of all the filings or overseeing that like a general contractor would. I also helped with hiring the architects, hiring the builders, reviewing the contracts for the builders, coordinating the building projects, coordinating how the projects would lay out, the timing of the projects, and all the various materials that they would require to run a very substantial building project. That's the nature of the job I was dealing with. How old was the youngest female you ever hired to work for for Jeffrey? Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation. You can answer. I have not any idea exactly of the youngest adult employee that I hired for Jeffrey. When you say adult employee, did you ever hire someone that was under the age of 18? Never. Did you ever invite someone under the age of 18 to Jeffrey's house, any of his homes? Sorry, my water. Should have pulled it over here. I gotta do one more thing. Okay, sorry. All right, so Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation. Can you repeat the question? Did you ever invite someone or invite anybody who was under the age of 18 to Jeffrey's homes? Same objections. I have a number of friends that have children and friends of mine that have kids, and in the invitation of my friends and their kids, I'm sure I may have invited some of my friends' kids to come. Anybody that is not a friend of yours. Any female under the age of 18, did you invite them to come to Jeffrey's home? Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form of foundation. Again, as I said, I'm not aware of inviting anybody other than friends of mine who have children to the house. Did you invite Virginia Giuffre to come to Jeffrey Epstein's home when she was under the age of 18? Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation. Virginia Roberts held herself out as a masseuse and invited herself to come and give a massage. My question is, did you invite Virginia Roberts when she was under the age of 18 to come to Jeffrey Epstein's home? Mr. Pagliuca, this guy's just going to keep going. Okay, object to the form and foundation. Again, Virginia Roberts was a masseuse. I'm asking not asking if she was a masseuse. I'm asking if you invited her to come to Jeffrey Epstein's home. Again, there would be no course to have a conversation with Virginia unless she held herself out to be a masseuse. I'm not asking that question. I'm asking if you invited her to come to Jeffrey Epstein's home when she was under the age of 18. Again, I repeat, she was a masseuse, and in the form and as my job, I was to have people who he wanted for various things, including massage. She came as a masseuse. So you invited her to his home to come to give a massage. Is that correct? Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation misstates the witness's testimony. Again, I did not invite Virginia Roberts. She came as a masseuse. She who invited her to come as a masseuse, she just showed up at the front door. Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation. Of course, this guy's going to obstruct throughout this thing. Okay, Miss Roberts held herself out. I'm not asking how she held herself out, which I don't understand unless it's an English thing, but it's not how we talk. She claimed she was masseuse. That's what I would have said. But anyway, I'm asking how she arrived at the home. Did you meet her and invite her to come to the home, or how did she arrive there? Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation. Miss Roberts held her to be a masseuse, and her mother drove her to the house. When did you first meet Virginia Roberts? I don't have a recollection of the first meeting. Do you recall meeting her at Mar-a-Lago? Like I said, I don't have a recollection of meeting Miss Roberts. So you recall Miss Roberts being brought to the home by her mother. Is that your testimony? That is my testimony. And that is the first time you met her. Like I said, I don't recall meeting her the first time. I do remember her mother bringing her to the house. Are you a member at Mar-a-Lago? No. Have you visited Mar-a-Lago? Yes. Did you visit Mar-a-Lago in the year 2000? I'm pretty sure I did. When Miss Roberts arrived at the home with her mother, what happened? I spoke to her mother outside of the house, and what I don't recall exactly what happened because I was talking to her mother the entire time, or she was in the house. I think she meant to say the entire time, but anyway. Did you introduce Miss Roberts to Jeffrey Epstein? I don't recall how she actually met Mr. Epstein. As I said, I spoke to her mother the entire time outside the house. Did you walk Miss Roberts up to the upstairs location at the Palm Beach house to meet Mr. Epstein? Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation. You can answer. I just explained. I spent the entire time talking to Virginia's mother outside the house. So the answer to the question is no. No, did you not walk her up or introduce her to Mr. Epstein? I just said no. Did you participate in the massage this first time when she first came to the home and you were speaking with her mother? She was in the home. Is that correct? You brought her into the home? Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation. I will repeat again. I was standing outside with her mother, so very difficult for me to do anything else at that time. So no, I did not take her upstairs. Did you participate? Virginia lied 100% about absolutely everything that took place in that first meeting. She has lied repeatedly, often, and is just an awful fantasist. So very difficult for anything to take place that she repeated because I was with her mother the entire time. So did you give a massage with Virginia Roberts and Mr. Epstein during the first time Virginia Roberts was at the West Palm Beach house? Object to the form and foundation. Yes or no? No. Have you ever given a massage with Virginia Roberts in the room and Jeffrey Epstein? Object to the form and foundation. No. Have you ever given Jeffrey Epstein a massage? Object to the form and foundation, and I'm going to instruct you not to answer that question. I don't have any problems with you asking questions about what the subject matter of this lawsuit is, which would be, as you termed it, sexual trafficking of Miss Roberts. To the extent you are asking for information relating to any consensual adult interaction between my client and Mr. Epstein, I'm going to instruct her not to answer because it's it's not part of this litigation, and it is her private confidential information not subject to this deposition. Miss McCauley, you can instruct her not to answer. That is your right, but I will bring her back for another deposition because it is part of the subject matter of this litigation, so she should be answering these questions. This is civil litigation deposition, and she should be responsible for answering these questions. Mr. Pagliuca, I disagree, and you understand the bounds that I put on it. Ms. McCauley, no, I don't. I will continue to ask my questions, and you can continue to make your objections. Did you ever participate from the time period of 1992 to 2009? Did you ever participate in massage with Jeffrey Epstein and another female? Mr. Pagliuca, objection. Do not answer that question. Again, to the extent you are asking for some sort of illegal activity as you construed in connection with this case, and I don't have any problem with you asking that question. To the extent these questions involve consensual acts between adults, frankly, they're none of your business, and I will instruct the witness not to answer. Ms. McCauley, this case involves sexual trafficking, sexual abuse. Questions about her having interactions with other females is relevant to this case. She needs to answer these questions. Mr. Pagliuca, I'm instructing her not to answer. Ms. McCauley, then we will be back here again. Have you ever given a massage to Mr. Epstein with a female that was under the age of 18? Can you repeat the question? Yes. Have you ever given a massage to Mr. Epstein with a female that was under the age of 18? No. Have you ever observed Mr. Epstein having a massage given by an individual, a female who was under the age of 18? No. Have you ever observed females under the age of 18 in the presence of Jeffrey Epstein at his home? Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form of foundation. Again, I have friends that have children. I'm not talking about friends. I'm talking about individuals. Mr. Pagliuca, I'm going to object to you interrupting the witness who was answering your question. The question was, have you ever seen anyone, female, under the age of 18 at the house? It's the question she was answering. If you want to strike that question and ask another question, feel free, but let the witness respond, please. Miss McCauley, I will do that. Have you ever observed a female under the age of 18 at Jeffrey Epstein's home that was not a friend, a child, one of your children's or friend's children? Again, I can't testify to that because I have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what I'm talking about in the sense you never observed a female under the age of 18 at Jeffrey Epstein's home that was not one of your friend's children. Is that correct? Obstruction. I'm just saying. I know. Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation. How would I possibly know how someone is when they are at his house? You're asking me to do that. I cannot possibly testify to that. As far as I'm concerned, everyone who came into his house was an adult professional person. Are you familiar with the police report that was issued in respect to the investigation in this matter? Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation. Are you familiar with the police report that was used in this matter? The investigation of Jeffrey Epstein has been produced as a document in this matter. I have seen a police report, Maxwell Exhibit 1, police report marked for identification. The police report that you have in front of you, can you turn to page 28 of that report? The numbers are on the top right-hand corner. You will see some redactions in this report, Ms. Maxwell. The redacted information is redacted because it reveals the name of a minor, someone who is under the age of 18. On page 28, in the third paragraph, about halfway down, it says redacted, stated she performed the massage naked. At the conclusion of this massage, Epstein paid redacted $200 for the massage. He explained, I know you're not comfortable, but I will pay you if you bring some girls. He told her the younger the better. Redacted stated once tried to bring a 23-year-old to Epstein, and he stated the female was too old. Have you heard Mr. Epstein use the phrase the younger the better? I have no recollection of hearing that. Have you used the phrase in talking to Redacted and asking her to recruit females for Mr. Epstein? The younger, the better. Mr. Pagliuca, of course, object to the form and foundation of the question. First of all, can you break the question apart? Have you used the phrase, the younger, the better, in speaking to Redacted and asking her to recruit females for Jeffrey Epstein? Mr. Pagliuca, this guy, object to the form and foundation. You can answer it's yes or no. No, that's absolutely not true. On the second part of your question, I have not asked Virginia to recruit females in the first part of your question. If you can repeat that again, the question you asked. Will you read back the question? Record read, whatever. I believe I answered the latter part of the question. The first part of the question, it's impossible for me to recall events that took place 16 years ago, but it doesn't sound like something I would say. On page 28, that same paragraph, Redacted was asked how many girls in total she brought to Epstein. Redacted stated that she can remember. Redacted stated that she brought, and it's redacted there, and the victim in this case. Let me ask my question. I have a question pending right now. Are you testifying that you are unaware of any underage, under the age of 18 females coming to Jeffrey Epstein's home to perform massages? Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form foundation. You need to straddle the question in a different time period. When I was there, at the time I was present, the people that gave Jeffrey, men and women who gave Jeffrey massages, were adults over the age of 18. Never in your time at any of Jeffrey Epstein's homes were you present when a female under the age of 18 was there to give Jeffrey Epstein a massage. Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation, of course. First of all, as I said, when I was present, it is a yes or no. No, it is not. You can answer the question in full, but please provide yes or no as an initial matter. I cannot answer yes or no. It's not bounded by time. It's entirely possible I could have been in a room or even in the vicinity of Palm Beach when somebody came and I would not know. How would I know when somebody was in the house? There's no way I can know. Did you stay at Jeffrey Epstein's home when you were in Palm Beach? Most of the time. So how is it that you wouldn't know if there was a female in this home under the age of 18 if you were staying there? Well, first of all, when I was staying there, the house is actually quite large and I have a very busy job and I had an office with the door, so the door would be shut and I would be working. I'm not responsible for what Jeffrey does and I don't always pay attention to what happens in the house. I'm very busy. So you're testifying that you never observed a female under the age of 18 at Jeffrey Epstein's West Palm Beach home. Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form and foundation. I already answered that question, I believe. You didn't answer my question. I did. Did you observe a female under the age of 18 at Jeffrey Epstein's home in Palm Beach? Like I said, I work. I don't sit there and watch people coming in and out of the house. I cannot possibly tell you if I'm in the home that somebody was there that I did not see. I cannot comment on it. I have no idea. Did you observe females at Jeffrey Epstein's home that were laying out topless in the back of the home? In other words, without a shirt on. So that's just another of Virginia's lies. So let's be clear. At the time when I was there and present frequently at the house, it was unusual to see people without their clothes on. When you say unusual, did you observe people without their clothes on at Jeffrey Epstein's home? Can I answer? Sometimes people in the privacy of a house and swimming pool. I've seen people from time to time take their top off. I've seen people from time to time do that. Very unusual. Naked people around the people at any frequent period of time I've never seen. Were they under the age of 18? As I was saying, people when I was in the house were of adult age. If they were children, friends of my family, or friends that were there, they may well have been, because I have nieces and nephews under the age of 18. I cannot testify to anybody else. Just another one of Virginia's many fictitious lies and stories to make this a salacious event to get interest and press. It's absolute rubbish. Were you in charge of hiring individuals to provide massages for Jeffrey Epstein? My job included hiring many people. There were 6 homes. As I sit here, I hired assistants, I hired architects, I hired decorators, I hired cooks, I hired cleaners, I hired gardeners, I hired pool people, I hired pilots, I hired all sorts of people. In the course, and a very small part of my job was from time to time to find adult professional massage therapists for Jeffrey. When you say adult professional massage therapist, where did you find these massage therapists? From time to time, I would visit professional spas. I would receive a massage, and if the massage was good, I would ask that man or woman if they did home visits. All right, I'm going to stop here. This is a pretty good place to stop. Go wash off a little. Yeah. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. I'll keep going on this because it's got 400 something pages, but it may take a while to get through it. But anyway, we'll do it. See y'all. Bye.